Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Link Enforcer, and today we're going to be putting Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic into high definition 1080p. This also works with 2K and 4K. However, I will only be covering the 1080p resolution, as I cannot go any higher than that. But there are other tutorials out there if that's what you're looking for. Also, if you are using the disc version of this game, You'll probably have to use a couple of extra steps that I'm unaware of to get this all up and going as I'm about to do it. There are other tutorials out there for you to search for. But with that said, I am using the Steam version, and we're going to hop into it now. All the links you're going to need are going to be in the description below. First thing first, though, guys, when you download this and install it, go ahead and run the game once. If you haven't already, you need to at least run the game once. This is going to generate some files in the game directory that we're going to need to use. See, it loads up fairly well, so we're going to go ahead and quit out. That's all we needed to do. Now let's go ahead and hit that description and download some important files that we're going to need to use. First is going to be this file right here is KOTOR editable executable. The Steam version executable is not editable. You won't be able to edit it in any way. So you're going to need to replace it with this one. We're also going to download universal widescreen. You're going to need this to patch it into a widescreen resolution. We're also going to download the high resolution menus. We're also going to download a UI menu pack, which should help the text and the boxes for the text line up and work when you scroll over them in game after you have gotten the high resolution menus going. And then also we'll head over to Nexus Mods. Now you will need a subscription to Nexus Mods. Not necessarily a subscription, but you'll need to register with them and have an account with them in order to download the mods from Nexus Mods. Really quick and easy to do, not a big deal, but this will actually upscale the original videos for you into your desired resolution. As you can tell, they have many resolutions here, all the way up to 2K and 4K. These files are going to be, it's going to take a little while to download. I'll just put it that way. It will take a little while to download, but not to worry. Once you get them all downloaded, you'll be good to go. That said, we're going to head over to our mods folder, just right here. And we're going to get our game directory as well. So Steam is going to be program files, x86 Steam apps common, and SW KOTOR. So we'll double click that. And this is what you should be looking at. First things first, before we even get into the mods over here, we are going to go into the SW config, and you're going to want to pick a resolution that is 1280 by 960. Now the refresh rate, texture pack, leave that alone. Click VSync, leave enable hardware mouse. So you should look like this. Don't pick any other resolution other than this, otherwise the widescreen fix that we're going to apply, the patch we're going to apply, it won't work. So make sure you just leave it right here at 1280 by 960. Click apply and then close. We're also going to go into the SW KOTOR INI file. I use Notepad++, and I will leave a link for that program down in the description below. So we're going to open that up. We're going to come down to where our resolution is, right here, and we're going to change it to our desired resolution. So we're going to do 1920 by 1080. And we're going to click save. And that is that. One thing I will say this, if you are going to be looking into 2K or 4K resolutions, just be aware that the text is going to get extremely small for your game. So just keep that in mind if you want to go to the 2K or the 4K resolution. I find that even on TVs that are 2K, 4K compatible, the 1080p resolution is just fine. It doesn't make the text too small, and it still makes it playable in my opinion. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to replace this executable file. So we'll double click after you've extracted everything and unzipped it. You'll double click this right here. It's got the executable in it. We're going to copy it, paste it, and let it replace the file. Now we're going to use UniWise. So we'll double click it, double click UniWise, and we're going to come over here. We're going to scroll down. As you can see, they've got a couple different KOTOR options here, but we are going to pick the 1280 by 960 interface. And then you can click find it for me, but it'll probably be easier to go through and just tell it where it's going to be located. So we will go in and find our folder, which is going to be right here. And we will click that right here, and it will pop up down here with a resolution. And you're going to go ahead and input your resolution at this time. So I'm going to put in 1920 by 1080. And I'm going to click patch. And it should pop up the game was successfully patched. If for some reason you have a pop-up that says that the program is still in use, just go ahead and drag and drop or copy that executable file, the editable one, back over, let it replace it, and then go through this step again, and it should work just fine. So we do have this now patched. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to launch the game. Now we're going to launch the game. As you can tell, everything still looks about the same. However, when we get here, this does look different now. Move into your options and your graphics. Make sure that it is on the screen resolution that you want it to be at. If not, change it. We'll actually move up to 85 hertz. Okay. And make sure all your options, graphics options, are what you want. These will be down. Soft shadows will be off. I turned all these up and turned the soft shadows on. Click OK. That way, basically, you max out your graphics. You should be good. Then we'll close out of the game. Or actually, let me load a game real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like if we try to play it right now. Okay, so as you can see, the HUD is completely off. It's not centered. It's not, it looks odd. So we're going to fix that now. We're going to exit the game. And now we're going to back out, and we are going to come to this K1HRM folder. And you're going to copy both of these files here. Copy it. Paste them in here. And then we're going to run this batch file right here. Now this will come up for you. And what you want to do is you want to enter the width of your screen. Again, if you're doing 2K or 4K, enter that resolution versus what I'm doing here. Again, I'm covering the 1080p. So I'm going to type in 1920 and hit enter. Then I'm going to put in 1080 and hit enter. Now it says, do you want the dialog letterbox portions adjusted? Yes, you do. Otherwise, it's going to throw a lot of things off. So click yes, or type in yes and hit enter. And then it says, please enter the name of the swkotor.exe file if you wish to patch. So it'll be any name that you have chosen. We haven't changed the name, so we'll just type in swkotor.exe and we will hit enter. And then it says press any key to continue, hit enter, and we're done. You come into your override folder, it's going to be empty. Now it should have worked, and you can actually take these two files and actually delete them. Now if it doesn't work, there's another way that you can ensure that it's going to work for you, and I do this just as a precaution. Up here you have different aspect ratios. So you'll find your aspect ratio minus 16:9, and you have a bunch of resolutions for that aspect ratio. We're doing 1920 by 1080. Double click that. It's got all these files in here. You're going to copy all these files, and we're going to put them into our override folder. If you don't have an override folder, you can create one and paste them in there. And make sure that the O is capitalized on override 2. All right, so now with that done, when we move back into the game, I'll show you what it looks like. So now, as you can tell, the beginning here, it doesn't have that border window or anything. It looks blown up. It looks in good quality, and everything looks fairly decent. You can even go in your options, your graphics, screen resolution. Everything should be the same as you had it before. Nothing should have changed. And we will launch a game, and I will show you that it looks 10 times better than what it did. Okay, now as you can tell, everything looks proportioned. It's not in like a smaller type of a window look. I mean, it's not in the middle of the screen or anything like that. It's where it needs to be. And we'll go ahead and we will exit again. So things are looking good right now. If everything is looking the way that it's looking right now for you as it is for me, you're on the right path. Now we're going to go to the HUD UI menu pack and the override here, and we're going to drag all these full files over into the override folder. And we're going to paste. And I'll copy all those over. Now what that should do is if there was any kind of offset from the lettering to where the mouse is set so you can select anything while you're in the menus in the game, it should have corrected that now at this time. And then one last thing you can do here before we actually get into the mods of the game to enhance the graphics even past what they are now, give them high resolution and high definition look. You have the movies. So you can copy all of these, and then we'll go over here to the movies folder, and we will go paste, and we will replace all of them. So this will copy all those folders over, and those movies should now be in a higher resolution for you, depending on which file you did download. And I will showcase that real quick. As you can tell, it's not as large as it was. Looks a little bit more in place, a little bit more crisp, a little bit cleaner. As you can tell, it looks a lot better than what it did. It's a lot more crisp. So that'll help out with the movies. Now once that's done, you pretty much have put the game into a 1080p or 2K or 4K resolution. That's pretty much it. Anything we do from here on out is going to be aesthetic and might change or add in some differences to the game. It won't necessarily change how the game is played. There are some other mods that are kind of popular. I think there's another world that you can add into the game, as well as a pretty popular mission modification, but they don't work with this at all. It will overwrite some of the mods that we're going to be putting in, and they won't work. So you're more than free to use those other mods. You're more than free to scour ModDB to look through game pressure or the Deadly Stream website, or even Nexus Mods, and figure out what you want to use, what you don't want to use. It's completely up to you. Now, I won't be going over the installation process of these mods, as that would take up a lot of time. Like I said, you're more than welcome to experiment with these mods for yourself. However, I am going to go over one mod that's downloaded from Nexus Mods. It's a preset for Reshade, so we're going to move over and I will show you how to install Reshade and get that preset going. Makes the game look a lot better. So once you have Reshade downloaded, it's fairly simple to install. You'll just double click here. Click here to select manage it, and we're going to browse to our game. And it's going to be this one right here, the SW KOTOR. You're going to select that, open it, use OpenGL, and I select all of these because I'm not exactly sure which ones he uses, so just to be on the safe side, I do select all of these except for the very last one. I don't do the legacy ones. And we'll click OK. Just click OK on every box as it's installing it. And it's done. And now we'll go ahead and we will install the Reshader preset. And just head over to the your game data folder, your directory, SW KOTOR folder, and you will paste that file in there just like that. And now we will launch the game again. Now once you're in game and Reshade has started, press home, skip the tutorial, and then up here where it says Reshade preset, just click over and KOTOR test should take effect. One thing that I remove is I believe it's a depth haze, and I'll show you why here in a second. So if I go to a new game, it's all hazy, which might be nice for some things, but as you can see, it's hazy up to a point. So we just uncheck it and we're good, and I leave it off. I leave everything else on. There may be a few other things that I might turn on. Let's see here. Actually, we'll activate that, and that. I like to use both of those. Like I said, we'll keep that off. That way it keeps the game from getting too bright. But that's pretty much it, guys. That sets you up for getting this game running into widescreen, 1080p resolution, high quality textures, high definition textures, that kind of a thing. I really hope this tutorial helped you guys out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Also, I cannot stress enough that you read the readmes for the mods. just so you know that you're installing what you think you're installing. Sometimes they come with a couple different variations of the mod. That way you know you're installing the variation that you want to install. But with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I really appreciate you guys coming out. I will catch you guys in the next one. You guys take care. Later.